And that Conjuring Universe is spitting out movies. Even compared to other franchises, I'm including myself in this when I say people out there who are like, fuck too many Star Wars movies. But Conjuring movies? Yeah, who cares? Annabelle Comes Home. So Annabelle Comes Home is the newest Annabelle movie in how many Conjuring movies have there been, or Conjuring Universe movies have there been? There have been a lot. Annabelle is part of that whole universe. Annabelle Comes Home is the third Annabelle movie. And Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, who play the Warrens, they're in it briefly. They're like, hey, this is our house, and in our house is a room that I'm just gonna call the super nerd room of death. It's straight up like the basement in Cabin in the Woods. Just everything around there, don't touch anything, and if you touch something, something's gonna come alive and kill you. So anyhow, the Warrens leave. They're like, hey, teenage babysitter, you want to babysit our daughter in a house that houses the super nerd room of death? What can go wrong? Well, things go wrong. Man, I don't know if this is something going wrong or very right, but I just enjoyed this movie a lot more than I thought I would. I get it. Like, after my Slender Man review, people were like, fuck this guy and his view of horror movies, and you're probably right. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Like a good critic. All I can tell you is how I view it. And honestly, I had fun with it. I mean, an element of fun. I'm not saying the movie's not cliche as hell, because it is. Here's the premise. A babysitter, the kid the babysitter's babysitting, and the babysitter's friend all come into this house. The house housing the super nerd room of death. And then demons come out and just start terrorizing them. Yeah, it sounds pretty 90s. That's kind of what I liked about it. This movie definitely does kind of throw back to those 90s horror movies, because it does feel like a 90s horror movie. And 90s horror movies feel different than horror movies now. The only thing that keeps this from being a true 90s horror movie is it takes itself a bit too seriously. If it had snappier dialogue, it would definitely be a movie that's right at home in the 90s. As it stands, it tries to take itself about as seriously as a horror movie feels it needs to take itself in 2019. Some of the scenes could definitely, you're like, you could have sliced that up. You could have shortened that. It's a person walking around a room, and it's setting up tone. It actually does pretty well setting up tone, but I couldn't help but feel like, all right, keep going. Just shave 30 seconds. 30 seconds of a person walking around a room could feel like 5 minutes. Like, if I just took 30 seconds to go, this is what 30 seconds feels like, and clocked it for 30 seconds, you'd tune out. You'd go somewhere else. That's what 30 seconds of downtime can do. And there's this weird boyfriend figure. I feel like this, well, boyfriend or crush, whatever you want to call him, I feel like he was added in post or something. Like, they were like, the movie's done. We need a boyfriend figure. Or at least someone has a crush on. I don't know. Well, can we film around it? Can we just do reshoots and then add him in here and there? I think we could do that. But really, just kind of shows up, does something, leaves. Shows up, does something, runs away. That said, what I had fun with in this movie was the horror stuff. Actually has some pretty fun horror element in here. And it's not just one demon. There are a few things they have to deal with in here. So if you think one demon's lame, you're like, I'm not really feeling that one. There are others. Which also lends itself to a variety of schemes these demons are doing. When it was all going down at the end, it was actually pretty intense. The audience was having fun with it. Because in the end, Annabelle Comes Home. It personally surprised me. I was gonna have like 4% on Rotten Tomatoes, don't give a fuck. The first half was a bit slow. The premise is cliche as shit. It's a cliche horror movie that does show love for horror movies. People make idiotic decisions. There's one demon in particular, I'm like, that might be a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, it's about a doll in a room full of really haunted stuff, and demons start coming after these people. But one demon in particular, that's where I draw the line, I guess. But if I'm supposed to enjoy myself in a movie like this, I enjoyed myself in this movie. It wasn't quite that 90s horror movie that lends itself to being a cult classic or anything, but as a 90s horror fan, I enjoyed it nonetheless. And I will say Annabelle Comes Home was a good time, no alcohol required. All right, so Annabelle Comes Home. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? What's your favorite horror movie after the 90s that kind of throws back to the 90s? Whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.